The space around the Galactic Council headquarters was usually peaceful, filled with the gentle hum of diplomatic ships from 100 different worlds. But today, that peace was shattered. Captain Elena Rodriguez stood on the bridge of the human diplomatic vessel Compassion *, her coffee cup frozen halfway to her lips. Her sensors had just picked up something impossible, a fleet of damaged ships appearing out of nowhere. "Captain, you need to see this," called her second-in-command, Lieutenant Davis, his voice tight with concern. Elena quickly set her cup down and moved to his station. The readings made her heart skip a beat. Dozens of ships, all showing critical damage, life support failing, engines barely functioning. "Those aren't military vessels," she muttered, studying the unusual designs. "They're colony ships, cargo haulers." Suddenly, the communication panel lit up like a Christmas tree. Distress signals flooded in, all on the same frequency, all desperate. "Help us, please. This is the Scifi refugee fleet. Our world is gone. We have nowhere else to go." Elena didn't hesitate. "Open a channel. This is Captain Rodriguez of the Earth vessel Compassion *. We hear you. What's your status?" The screen flickered to life, revealing a face unlike any she'd seen before. Pale blue skin, large dark eyes filled with tears, and delicate features that spoke of exhaustion and fear. "I am Elder Vax of the Scifi people," the alien said, his voice breaking. "The Vrakis Empire. They destroyed our homeworld. We are all that remains. 2 million souls in these failing ships. Our children are dying. Please, we beg for sanctuary." Elena's training kicked in, but her humanity pushed harder. "Elder Vax, maintain your position. I'm contacting the Galactic Council immediately. We'll get you help." She turned to her crew. "Get me a direct line to Ambassador Chen. And start scanning those ships. I want to know exactly what they need." The next hour was a blur of activity. Elena's crew worked tirelessly, gathering data on the refugee fleet's condition. The situation was worse than she'd feared. Food supplies nearly gone, medical facilities overwhelmed, several ships on the verge of total life support failure. Finally, the call came through. Ambassador Marcus Chen's face appeared on the main screen, the grand chamber of the Galactic Council visible behind him. "Captain Rodriguez, I've presented the Scifi case to the Council," he said, but his expression told Elena everything she needed to know. "They refused to help, didn't they?" she asked, anger rising in her voice. Chen nodded grimly. "The Saurians claim they're too far away. The Cathari say it's not their problem. The Dolmeri cited resource shortages, and the others." He shook his head. "They're afraid of the Vrakis Empire." Elena slammed her fist on the console. "There are children dying out there, Ambassador." "I know," Chen replied, his own frustration evident. "That's why I've made a decision. Earth will help them. Alone if we must." The bridge fell silent. Everyone knew what this meant. Potentially making enemies of the powerful Vrakis Empire, straining Earth's limited resources, risking everything for strangers. Elena straightened her uniform. "Understood, Ambassador. What are our orders?" "Begin immediate humanitarian aid. I'm mobilizing everything we have. Medical ships, food supplies, temporary shelters." "And Elena," Chen paused, "the whole galaxy is watching. Show them what humanity stands for." As the channel closed, Elena turned to her crew. Their faces showed determination, pride, and not a hint of doubt. "You heard the Ambassador," she said, a fierce smile spreading across her face. "Let's show these Scifi what humans do when someone needs help. Davis, coordinate with their lead ship. Jackson, start transferring emergency supplies. The rest of you, we've got 2 million lives to save." As the Compassion * moved toward the refugee fleet, Elena looked out at the stars. The other species had turned their backs, made their excuses, chosen safety over compassion. But not humanity. Never humanity. and that choice would change the galaxy forever. Ambassador Marcus Chen stood in the center of Earth's United Government Chamber, facing a sea of angry faces. The emergency session had been called just hours after his promise to help the Scifi refugees. "Ambassador Chen, have you lost your mind?" shouted General Morrison, his face red with anger. "You want to risk war with the Vrakis Empire for aliens we don't even know." Chen remained calm, though his heart was racing. "General, there are 2 million refugees dying in space. Children, families, an entire civilization begging for help." "And what about our children?" demanded Senator Patel, standing up from her seat. "Our resources are already stretched thin. We can barely feed our own colonies." The chamber erupted in arguments. Some supported Chen's decision, others strongly opposed it. The debate grew louder and more heated with each passing minute. "Enough." Chen's voice cut through the noise. He activated the large screen behind him. "Before you make your decision, I want you to see something." The room fell silent as images appeared on the screen. A Scifi mother cradling her unconscious child. Elderly aliens sharing their last bits of food with the young ones. Engineers working desperately to keep failing life support systems running. Then came the video that would change everything. A young Scifi girl, no more than 6 years old, looking directly into the camera. Her large eyes were filled with tears, but she managed a small smile. "Thank you, humans," she whispered in broken English. "Elder Vax says you might help us. Please, I don't want to die." The chamber went completely quiet. Senator Patel slowly sat down, tears in her eyes. Even General Morrison looked away, his anger replaced by something else. "The footage has been leaked to the media," Chen said softly. "The whole world is watching." As if on cue, an aide rushed in. "Sir, you need to see this." The screen switched to live news feeds from around the world. Massive crowds had gathered in every major city. New York, London, Beijing, Mumbai. Everywhere, people were marching, holding signs that read, "Help the Scifi," and "Humanity first, compassion always." Social media exploded with the hashtag #SaveTheScifi. Donations poured in from ordinary citizens. Volunteers signed up by the thousands to help with the rescue effort. A young mother in Tokyo was interviewed on the street. "If we turn our backs on them now, what kind of example are we setting for our children?" A construction worker in Rio declared, "I don't have much, but I'll give what I can. Nobody should die alone in space." Back in the chamber, the mood had completely shifted. Senator Patel stood again, but this time her voice was different. "I was wrong," she said simply. "My grandfather came to Earth as a refugee. If people hadn't helped him then, I wouldn't be standing here today." One by one, other leaders stood to speak. The fear and anger were still there, but something stronger had taken root, the very essence of what made them human. General Morrison was the last to stand. "I still think this is dangerous," he said gruffly. "But I'll be damned if I let those people die while we do nothing. The military will provide protection for the rescue fleet." Chen looked around the chamber, seeing nods of agreement from every corner. He took a deep breath and made the announcement that would go down in history. "Then it's decided. Earth will launch the largest humanitarian mission in human history. We'll need every ship, every volunteer, every resource we can gather." He paused, his voice growing stronger. "Some say we're risking too much. I say if we abandon them now, we abandon our own humanity." The chamber erupted in applause. Outside, the crowds cheered as the news spread. Across the planet, people celebrated not just the decision, but what it meant about who they were as a species. Within hours, the mobilization began. Cargo ships were converted into rescue vessels. Doctors and nurses volunteered for the mission. Engineers designed emergency shelter systems. Food and medical supplies were gathered from every corner of Earth and its colonies. As Chen watched the preparations from his office window, his aide approached with a message. "Sir, the Vrakis Empire has issued a warning. They say helping the Scifi will be considered an act of war. Chen turned to face her, his expression resolute. Then let them come. We've made our choice. That night, as the first rescue ships prepared to launch, Chen received one final message. It was from Elder Vax of the Scifi. Ambassador Chen, we watched your people choose compassion over fear. Whatever happens next, know that the Scifi will never forget this day. You have given us more than hope. You have shown us the true meaning of humanity. Commander Aisha Patel stood on the bridge of the New Hope *, watching the largest fleet in human history take shape around her. Cargo ships, medical vessels, and military escorts stretched as far as her sensors could reach. Status report, she called out, her eyes never leaving the viewport. All ships report ready, Commander, reply her operations officer. 1,247 vessels in total. We're carrying enough supplies to feed 3 million for 6 months. Aisha nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility on her shoulders. This wasn't just a rescue mission. It was humanity's statement to the galaxy. Begin jump sequence. Let's go save some lives. The journey to Scifi space took 3 days. As they approached, the true scale of the disaster became clear. Hundreds of damaged ships floated in space, their hulls scared and engines flickering weakly. My God, whispered Aisha's pilot. It's worse than we thought. Commander, we're picking up Vrakis patrol ships at the edge of the system, warned the tactical officer. Maintain course, Aisha ordered, but keep our weapons powered down. We're here for rescue, not war. As they drew closer to the refugee fleet, Aisha's communication officer suddenly gasped. Commander, I'm picking up a weak signal from that colony ship. They're singing. The bridge fell silent as the haunting melody filled the air. It was a Scifi prayer song. Hundreds of voices joined together despite their suffering. Open a channel to all refugee ships, Aisha commanded, her voice thick with emotion. This is Commander Paddle of Earth's rescue fleet. We've brought food, medicine, and hope. Your waiting is over. The response was overwhelming. Cheers, cries of joy, and that beautiful singing grew louder. On every refugee ship, Scifi pressed against windows, waving whatever they could find. Begin rescue operations, Aisha ordered. Priority to ships with failing life support. The next hours were chaos, but organized chaos. Human ships docked with refugee vessels, transferring supplies and evacuating the most critical cases. Medical teams worked nonstop, saving lives that had been minutes from ending. Dr. James Wilson was in the middle of treating Scifi children when he noticed something strange. Despite their weakness, the children kept trying to give him small objects, crystals, drawings, anything they had. They're trying to pay us, explained a Scifi elder. In our culture, one must always give something in return for help. James knelt beside a small girl who was offering him a blue crystal. Keep it, he said gently. Seeing you smile is payment enough. Meanwhile, Aisha faced a growing problem. Commander, Vrakis ships are moving closer. They're demanding we leave immediately. How many refugees have we evacuated? Only 300,000. We need more time. Aisha made a decision that would become legendary. Signal all ships, accelerate evacuation procedures, and get me a channel to those Vrakis vessels. When the Vrakis commander appeared on screen, his reptilian features twisted in anger. Humans, you were warned. Leave now or face destruction. Aisha stood tall. We're conducting a humanitarian mission. These people need help. They are enemies of the Empire. They are refugees, and we will not abandon them. The Vrakis commander's scales flared red. You have 1 hour before we open fire. As the channel closed, Aisha turned to her crew. You heard him. 1 hour to save as many as we can. Make it count. What followed was the most intense rescue operation in history. Human crews pushed their ships to the limit, docking and undocking at speeds that defied safety protocols. Engineers jury-rigged connections between incompatible systems. Pilots flew with precision that seemed impossible. With 5 minutes remaining, they had evacuated 800,000 Seltheri. Not enough, but more than anyone thought possible. "Vraki's ships are powering weapons," shouted the tactical officer. Just then, Lieutenant Jin Park's voice crackled over the comm. "Commander, I have an idea. It's crazy, but it might buy us more time." "We're out of options, Lieutenant. What's your plan?" Jin's ship, the Lightning Asterisk, suddenly broke formation and headed straight for the largest refugee vessel. "Their reactor is about to go critical, if I can trigger it at the right moment." Aisha understood immediately. "All ships, prepare for emergency jump on my mark." The Lightning Asterisk fired precise shots at the failing reactor. As Vraki's weapons locked on, the refugee ship exploded in a brilliant flash that temporarily blinded their sensors. "Jump now," Aisha commanded. The human fleet vanished into hyperspace, carrying 800,000 saved lives. As they traveled toward human space, Aisha received a message from Eldervax. Lieutenant Jin Park sat in the cockpit of the Lightning Asterisk, studying the Vrakis blockade pattern. 3 weeks had passed since the first rescue, and the enemy had learned from their mistakes. "They got the whole system locked down tight," muttered his co-pilot, Sarah Chen. "No gaps, no blind spots." Jin smiled. "There's always a gap. We just need to find it." Their mission was critical. Reach the colony ship Haven's Promise stranded deep in the blockade zone with 50,000 Seltheri aboard. Food was gone, water systems failing, and children were dying every hour. "Sir, I'm picking up a transmission," called the communications officer. "It's weak, but it's them." The message was heartbreaking. Children's voices, singing the same prayer song they'd heard before, but weaker now. In the background, parents whispered words of comfort, promising rescue would come. Jin's jaw tightened. "Plot a course. We're going in." "Through the blockade?" Sarah asked, though she already knew the answer. "Through, around, or under, whatever it takes." The Lightning Asterisk was special. A stealth ship designed for exactly this kind of mission. As they approached the blockade, Jin activated their cloaking systems and held his breath. "Vraki's cruiser, bearing 047, whispered the tactical officer. "They haven't seen us yet." For 2 hours, they played the deadliest game of hide-and-seek in the galaxy, weaving between patrol ships, using asteroids for cover, pushing their stealth systems to the limit. Finally, they spotted it, the Haven's Promise drifting dark and silent except for emergency lights. "Sarah, bring us alongside. Everyone else, prepare for rapid evacuation." As they docked, Jin was the first through the airlock. The scene inside broke his heart. Seltheri families huddled together for warmth, children too weak to cry, elderly aliens giving their last bits of water to the young. A Seltheri father approached, carrying his daughter. "Please," he begged, "take the children first." Jin activated his comm. "This is Lieutenant Park, beginning evacuation. Priority to children and medical cases." The crew worked with desperate efficiency. They'd modified the Lightning Asterisk to carry far more than its designed capacity, but it still wasn't enough for everyone. "Sir, Vraki's ships are changing patrol patterns," warned Sarah. "I think they've detected something." Jin made a terrible choice. 10 more minutes. We can save a few hundred more. Those 10 minutes felt like hours. Families said goodbye, parents pushing their children toward the human rescuers while staying behind themselves. Jin saw acts of sacrifice that would haunt him forever. "Lieutenant, we're out of time." Sarah's voice was urgent. "Multiple Vraki's ships converging on our position." With the Lightning Asterisk packed far beyond safety limits, Jin prepared for their escape. But there was a problem. The colony ship's reactor was failing, creating an energy signature the Vrakis could track. "If we leave now, They'll follow us straight to the refugee camps, realized Jin. A crazy idea formed in his mind. Sarah, can you pilot us out alone? What are you thinking? Someone needs to stay behind, trigger the reactor manually, create a diversion. Before anyone could object, a Scifi engineer stepped forward. I will do it, she said simply. My family is safe with you. Let me give others the same chance. Jin started to protest, but saw the determination in her eyes. What's your name? Vera. Tell my children. Tell them their mother loves them. With seconds to spare, the lightning detached from the colony ship. Jin watched as Vera worked at the reactor controls, her movements calm despite the approaching Vrakish ships. All ships, this is Vera of the Scifi. Her voice came over the comm. Thank you for showing us that compassion still exists. Remember us. The explosion lit up space like a small sun. In the confusion, the lightning slipped through the blockade, carrying 3,000 saved lives. Hours later, as they approached human space, Jin sat with Vera's children. The eldest, barely 10 years old, held his hand. Will we see Mother again? She asked. Jin struggled for words. Your mother. She's a hero. She saved all of us. And heroes never really leave us. They live on in the lives they save. The child nodded solemnly. Like you humans, you're heroes too. No, Jin replied softly. We're just people who couldn't stand by and watch others suffer. As news of the daring rescue spread, something changed in the galaxy. Other species who had watched in silence began to question their own inaction. Secret messages arrived at human outposts, offers of supplies, hidden support, and shame at their earlier cowardice. The Vrakish Empire had expected humanity to retreat after the first rescue. Instead, humans kept coming, each mission more daring than the last. Ship captains competed for the honor of running the blockade. Engineers developed new stealth technologies. Ordinary citizens donated everything they had. In the depths of space, the remaining Scifi waited. They knew now that humans would never stop trying, never abandon them. And in that knowledge, they found hope. The blockade runner missions continued, each one a testament to human courage and determination. Jin Park became a legend, but he always remembered Vera's sacrifice. Because that's what the rescue was really about, not just saving lives, but proving that in a cold, indifferent universe, compassion could still burn bright as any star. The attack came without warning. Admiral Hassan was reviewing refugee reports when alarms blared across the Mars defense station. Sir, Vrakish battleships emerging from hyperspace, shouted his tactical officer. They're targeting New Tokyo colony. Hassan's blood ran cold. New Tokyo housed 200,000 humans and 50,000 Scifi refugees. All ships, battle stations. Protect the colony at all costs. The Vrakish message played across all channels. Humans, you were warned. Your interference ends today. 12 Vrakish battleships opened fire on New Tokyo's defense grid. Human ships rushed to intercept, but they were outgunned and outnumbered. Shields at 40%, reported the colony commander. We can't take much more. Hassan watched helplessly as another human frigate exploded. Then something strange happened. The Scifi refugee ships, supposedly helpless, began moving into defensive positions around the colony. Elder Vax appeared on Hassan's screen. Admiral, we've been hiding something. Our ships aren't as damaged as they appear. Suddenly, the refugee vessels deployed energy shields unlike anything Hassan had seen. They absorbed the Vrakish weapons fire, protecting the colony. How? Hassan asked in amazement. We are scientists and engineers, Vax explained. We developed advanced shield technology before our world fell. We hid it, fearing others would steal it. But you saved us without asking for anything. Now we share everything. The tide of battle shifted. Scifi shields protected human ships while they counterattacked. Working together, they drove back the Vrakish assault. But victory came at a terrible cost. 3 human colonies were destroyed. Thousands died. Earth's economy strained under war expenses. In the Galactic Council, other species condemned humanity's actions. "You brought this on yourselves," declared the Saurian ambassador. "We will not help you fight your war." Ambassador Chen stood alone in the chamber. "We asked for your help with refugees. You refused. Now you refuse again. So be it. Humanity stands alone, but we stand proud." Back on Earth, something remarkable happened. Instead of anger at the Scifi, humans embraced them even more. In every city, humans and Scifi worked side by side, sharing technology and knowledge. Dr. Maria Santos led a joint research team, combining human adaptability with Scifi science. "Their shield technology is incredible," she reported. "But when we combine it with our power systems, it becomes revolutionary." Within months, hybrid human-Scifi technology transformed Earth's defenses. Ships became faster, shields stronger, weapons more precise. The Vrakis Empire found itself facing an enemy that grew stronger with each battle. In refugee camps, Scifi children learned alongside human children. Scifi doctors, masters of biological science, cured diseases that had plagued humanity for centuries. Human engineers helped rebuild Scifi technology, creating innovations neither species could achieve alone. Yumkara, the Scifi girl who'd lost her mother in Jin's rescue mission, became a symbol of this unity. Adopted by a human family, she excelled in school, mastering both cultures. When interviewed, she said, "The Vrakis took my world, but humans gave me a new one. Together, we're stronger than either alone." The war escalated. Vrakis attacks grew desperate as they realized their mistake. They hadn't just made an enemy of humanity, they'd created an alliance that threatened their empire. Other species watched in disbelief as humans, instead of crumbling under pressure, thrived. The primitive humans and helpless Scifi were revolutionizing galactic technology. A turning point came when the Vrakis attacked the Ketheri homeworld. Assuming they'd remain neutral, the Ketheri ambassador contacted Earth with a single message: "We were wrong. Help us." Hassan looked at his mixed human-Scifi crew. The Ketheri refused to help the Scifi. "What do we do?" A young ensign, half human, half Scifi through adoption, spoke up. "We help them, sir, because that's what makes us different." The fleet jumped to Ketheri space, shields powered by Scifi technology, weapons enhanced by human innovation. They saved the Ketheri homeworld, asking nothing in return. Word spread across the galaxy. The humans who'd been condemned for helping refugees were now saving their critics. Species after species reconsidered their positions. In a quiet moment after battle, Elder Vax sat with Admiral Hassan. "We offered you our technology because you earned it, but you've given us something more valuable. You've shown the galaxy that strength comes from compassion, not conquest." Hassan smiled tiredly. "The price has been high." "All things worth having come at a price," Vax replied. "But look what we've built together." Outside the viewport, human and Scifi ships patrolled side by side, their merged technologies creating a defense grid that even the Vrakis Empire feared. The war was far from over, but humanity had proven something to the galaxy, that sometimes the greatest strength comes from opening your heart, even when it puts you at risk. And in doing so, they created something the galaxy had never seen. A true alliance built on mutual respect, shared sacrifice, and the simple belief that helping others was always the right choice. Dr. Sarah Kovacs looked at the star map floating above her desk, marking another secret location. In 6 months, she had built something impossible: a network of hidden stations and colonies where Scifi refugees could live safely. "Sanctuary Station 7 is operational," reported her assistant, Michael. "We can house another 10,000 refugees there." Sarah nodded, exhausted but satisfied. "Good. The next convoy arrives tomorrow." What started as emergency shelters had grown into something beautiful. Each station was more than just a hiding place. It was a home, a school, a hospital, and a symbol of hope. The door opened, and teacher Lisa Wong entered with a group of mixed human and Scifi children. "Dr. Kovacs, the children made something for you." A small Scifi girl stepped forward, holding a drawing. It showed humans and Scifi holding hands under a rainbow. "Thank you for making us safe," she said shyly. Sarah felt tears in her eyes. This was why they did it, not for politics or power, but for these children who deserved a future. The network operated in complete secrecy. Volunteer pilots used fake cargo manifests. Engineers built stations in asteroid fields and nebulas where sensors couldn't penetrate. Doctors, teachers, and workers from every profession left their comfortable lives to help. Captain Jake Thompson ran the most dangerous route, picking up refugees from behind enemy lines. His ship, disguised as a Vrakis freighter, had saved thousands. "Another run tonight," he told his crew. "Intelligence says there are 500 Scifi hiding on mining station Omega-9. That's deep in Vrakis territory," warned his first officer. Jake grinned. "That's why they need us." Meanwhile, the Galactic Council grew suspicious. They summoned Ambassador Chen to explain reports of unauthorized human activity. "Ambassador, we demand to know about these secret installations," said the Dolmeri representative. Chen activated the main screen, showing footage from the sanctuary stations. Children played in gardens. Families shared meals. Scifi and humans worked together, laughed together, lived together. "Which part disturbs you?" Chen asked calmly. "The children learning? The families finding peace? Or is it simply that we're succeeding where you failed?" The chamber fell silent. Then Chen delivered words that would echo through history. "You ask what destabilizes the galaxy. Not compassion. Not hope. What destabilizes it is fear. Fear of helping others. Fear of doing what's right. We choose differently." Back at Sanctuary Station 3, something remarkable happened. A damaged ship limped into the dock. Not human, not Scifi, but Marlian. The insectoid species had officially remained neutral. The Marlian captain clicked his mandibles nervously. We carry refugees. Our government refuses to help, but we cannot watch children starve. Will you take them?" Sarah herself met them at the airlock. "Welcome to Sanctuary. All who need help are welcome here." Word spread quietly. More ships arrived. Ketheri merchants losing cargo that turned out to be food supplies, Saurian doctors retiring to human space, even some Dolmeri engineers defecting to help build new stations. The underground railroad of space grew beyond anything Sarah imagined. It wasn't just about saving Scifi anymore. It was about showing the galaxy another way. One day, Sarah received an encrypted message from an unexpected source, a Vrakis officer. "Not all of us support the Empire's actions. Some of us remember when we too valued life over conquest. We will help where we can." The network expanded carefully. False routes confused pursuers. Decoy stations drew attention from real sanctuaries. The Vrakis Empire hunted relentlessly, but found only shadows. In the sanctuaries, a new culture emerged. Scifi art adorned human walls. Human music filled Scifi halls. Children grew up speaking both languages, understanding both cultures. They were neither fully human nor fully Scifi. They were something new, something better. Teenage Kara, now living at Sanctuary Station 5, started a broadcast that reached across the galaxy. "This is Radio Hope," she announced each night, broadcasting from nowhere and everywhere. Tonight's message: kindness is not weakness. Compassion is not foolish. We are proof. Her words reached far beyond the sanctuaries. On worlds across the galaxy, beings listened and wondered if they too could choose differently. The Vrakis Empire grew frustrated. Every raid found empty stations. Every trap caught nothing. They couldn't understand how humans, supposedly primitive and emotional, could outsmart them so completely. The answer was simple. The Empire fought for conquest, but humans fought for love. And love, it turned out, was a far more powerful motivator. As the network grew, it became more than just a rescue operation. It became a movement, a revolution of compassion that slowly changed the galaxy's heart. Sarah looked at her map again, now showing dozens of sanctuaries. Each dot represented thousands of lives saved, futures preserved, hope maintained. "We started this to save the cell theory," she told Michael. "But maybe we're saving ourselves too. Maybe we're saving everyone." Outside, the stars shone bright, and somewhere among them, another ship full of refugees found its way to safety, guided by the simple belief that every life mattered. The Underground Railroad of space continued, unstoppable, because it ran on the most powerful fuel in the universe, the human heart. The dawn sky over New Haven Colony burned red with weapons fire. Admiral Hassan stood on the bridge of the Defiance watching as 200 Vrakis warships surrounded humanity's largest refugee settlement. "All ships report ready, Admiral," said Commander Paddle. "But we're outnumbered 3-1. Hassan gripped the railing. 1 million Seltheri refugees lived on New Haven, along with 500,000 humans. If the colony fell, it would be the greatest massacre in galactic history. "Send the evacuation signal," Hassan ordered. "Get the children to the bunkers." On the planet below, humans and Seltheri worked together with practiced efficiency. Parents comforted children as they filed into underground shelters. Soldiers took positions alongside refugee volunteers who refused to hide. The Vrakis commander appeared on screen, his scales glowing with triumph. "Surrender the Seltheri, Admiral. This is your last chance." "You know our answer," Hassan replied. "We don't abandon friends." The battle began with terrible fury. Vrakis ships poured fire onto New Haven's shields, while human vessels fought desperately to hold them back. For every enemy ship destroyed, 2 more took its place. "Shields at 30%, shouted the tactical officer. "We can't hold much longer." In the colony, young Kara stood with other teenage volunteers, helping to coordinate evacuations. When wounded soldiers were brought in, she worked alongside doctors, her Seltheri knowledge of biology proving invaluable. "More ships incoming," warned the sensor officer. Hassan's heart sank. Reinforcements, but not for them. Then something amazing happened. The new ships opened fire on the Vrakis fleet. "Admiral, those are Ketheri vessels," Commander Patil exclaimed. "And Marlian. And is that a Saurian cruiser?" Messages flooded in. "Ketheri Fleet Command. We stand with humanity." Marlian Defense Force reporting. "Your fight is now ours." Saurian Republic ship Dawn's Light *. "We were wrong to stay silent." Captain Elena Rodriguez, now commanding the Compassion Aya *, couldn't believe her eyes. They came. After all this time, they finally came. The tide turned quickly. Ships from a dozen species joined the battle, their crews inspired by humanity's example. Even some Dolmari vessels appeared, defying their government's neutrality. On the ground, Seltheri engineers revealed another surprise. They'd spent months secretly upgrading New Haven's defenses with technology no one knew they possessed. "Activating planetary shield grid now," announced Eldervax. A shimmering barrier enveloped the entire colony, powered by a fusion of human and Seltheri technology. Vrakis weapons that could shatter moons bounced harmlessly off its surface. The Vrakis commander's shock was visible. "Impossible. How did you?" "You made a mistake," Hassan interrupted. "You thought fear would keep others from helping us. Instead, our courage showed them what they could be." The battle raged for hours. Ships danced between stars. Weapons carved light across space. But slowly, steadily, the Vrakis fleet crumbled. In the medical center, a wounded Ketheri pilot grasped Kara's hand. "We watched you save that Seltheri when we did nothing." Shame is a powerful teacher. As the last Vrakis ship fled, cheers erupted across New Haven. Humans and Seltheri embraced. Children emerged from bunkers to see the sky filled with friendly ships from across the galaxy. But the most profound moment came during the aftermath. Representatives from every species that had joined the battle gathered in New Haven's central plaza. The Marleyan admiral's antennae twitched with emotion. We came as separate fleets. We leave as something new. An alliance born not from treaties, but from shared values. Elder Vax stepped forward, tears in his ancient eyes. When we begged for help, only humans answered. Today, the galaxy answered. This is the future we dreamed of. Admiral Hassan addressed the crowd, his voice carrying across the plaza. This victory belongs to everyone who chose compassion over fear. We didn't just win a battle. We changed what's possible. That night, as celebratory lights filled the sky, Sarah Kovacs received reports from sanctuary stations across space. The Underground Railroad was no longer needed to hide. It could now openly welcome refugees from any species fleeing oppression. In her broadcast that evening, Kara's voice reached further than ever before. This is Radio Hope, broadcasting from New Haven. Today, the galaxy chose love over fear. Tomorrow, we build the future together. The Battle of New Haven marked the turning point, not just in the war against the Vrakis Empire, but in galactic civilization itself. Species that had ignored each other for millennia now fought side by side. Ancient prejudices crumbled in the face of shared purpose. And at the center of it all stood humanity, the species everyone had underestimated, whose greatest weapon turned out to be their hearts. As dawn broke over New Haven, Admiral Hassan watched ships from a dozen species patrolling together. The impossible had become reality. The galaxy would never be the same. "What now, sir?" asked Commander Patel. Hassan smiled. "Now we show them this was just the beginning. The real work starts today." The battle had been long and brutal. The skies above the alien planet were filled with smoke and fire as the remnants of the Galactic Empire's fleet retreated. Humanity's forces, though victorious, stood silent in the aftermath, looking at the damage. The ground was littered with debris from the fierce fight, and both human and alien bodies lay scattered among the ruins. Commander Alex Carter surveyed the battlefield with a heavy heart. His eyes scanned the alien city they had fought so hard to protect. The buildings, once grand and full of life, were now reduced to rubble. The cost of this victory was more than he had ever imagined. Many of his crew had fallen, their sacrifices a testament to their dedication to the mission. Beside him, the alien leader, Kyra, stood tall but with a solemn expression. Her eyes reflected the sorrow of their people, who had lost so much in the battle. The once peaceful planet now bore the scars of war. She turned to Alex, her voice a quiet whisper amidst the chaos. "We owe you everything, Commander. But at what cost?" Alex couldn't find the words to answer. How could he explain the weight of the lives lost? The alien forces had fought bravely, but they were no match for the overwhelming power of the Empire. The humans had brought advanced weaponry and strategies, but even that had not been enough to prevent such devastation. "We did what we had to," Alex finally said, his voice thick with emotion. "We promised to protect you, and we did, but we've all paid a price for it." As they walked through the remains of the battlefield, they came across the body of a young human soldier, his face covered in the dust of the planet. Alex knelt beside him, a grim expression on his face. He had been a bright young recruit, one of the many who had volunteered for this mission, eager to help the alien people. Now he was gone, his sacrifice adding to the long list of those who had given everything. Zara placed her hand on Alex's shoulder. She didn't need to say anything. Her sadness mirrored his, and they both knew that the victory they had won came with a heavy cost. The alien planet would never be the same. But it was still standing, still breathing, and that was something worth fighting for. "I'll make sure they're remembered," Alex said, standing up. "Every one of them. They won't die in vain." The wind began to pick up, carrying with it the faint sounds of rebuilding. Earth's soldiers and the alien people started to gather, tending to the wounded and mourning the dead. It was a quiet moment of reflection after the storm of battle, a moment where hope began to take root again. The victory was theirs. But the galaxy had been forever changed. Humanity had made its mark, proving that when others turned their backs, Earth had stepped in to protect those who couldn't defend themselves. But for those who had survived, the true cost of this victory would be carried in their hearts forever. The war was over, but the scars would remain. The galaxy was not the same anymore. News of the human victory spread like wildfire through the stars, causing ripples across the known universe. As the Empire's forces retreated, their once unshakable grip on power began to falter. But it wasn't just the Empire that was affected. The entire galactic order was on the verge of a dramatic change. In the days following the battle, Earth became the center of attention. The other civilizations, who had once looked upon humanity as weak and insignificant, now watched in awe. The humans, with their bravery and unwavering resolve, had defeated an empire that had terrorized countless worlds. It was a victory that would echo across the stars for generations. Yet, not everyone was pleased by humanity's rise to power. The Galactic Council, which had long ignored the pleas of the smaller and weaker civilizations, felt threatened. They had never seen humanity as a serious contender in the galaxy's politics, but now they were forced to take notice. Some of the more established civilizations began to whisper in the council halls. They feared that Earth's victory would lead to a shift in power that would upset the delicate balance they had maintained for centuries. Meanwhile, the Empire's remnants were not easily defeated. Their humiliation burned like a fire, and their leaders swore revenge. The Empire's high command regrouped in secret, vowing to exact retribution on those who had dared to stand against them. Their warships, though damaged, still held terrifying power, and they began to secretly rally their forces, preparing for a new offensive. But humanity wasn't going to back down. The victory was too important. Earth had stood as a shield for the alien species, and now they stood tall as a symbol of resistance. Humans had proven that they would protect the weak, even if it meant risking everything. In the quiet aftermath, Earth's leaders knew their work was far from over. The Empire would not forget this defeat easily. The galaxy's power dynamics had shifted, and the small but resilient human race had become a key player in the galactic stage. Humanity's role was no longer just that of a protector. They had become a beacon of hope for all the oppressed and forgotten civilizations. Earth's government began reaching out to those who had suffered under the Empire's rule, offering support and forming alliances. Many of these civilizations, once too afraid to act, saw Earth as their new ally and leader in a fight for freedom. But the most surprising change came from the other civilizations who had once refused to help the aliens. Their stance began to shift, some offering their support in the form of trade or resources. Others, realizing that the balance of power had tipped in humanity's favor, began to reconsider their alliances with the Empire. The Empire's cruelty had been exposed, and now, even those who had been too afraid to speak out were finding the courage to stand against it. Zyra, the alien leader, stood beside Commander Alex Carter as they watched the new alliances form across the galaxy. She looked at Earth with a sense of awe, grateful that humanity had not only protected her people but had sparked a movement that could change the galaxy forever. "We may have lost so much," she said softly, "but thanks to humanity, we have a chance to rebuild, and the galaxy will never be the same." Alex nodded, his eyes filled with determination. "We've started something that will last. The Empire thought they could crush us, but they didn't know what humanity is capable of. The galaxy will be ours to protect." And as the stars gleamed above them, both human and alien knew that their victory had not just saved a single planet. It had begun a new chapter for the entire galaxy. The galaxy was changing. The war with the Empire had left its scars, but humanity's role in the galaxy was now undeniable. Earth had not only defended the alien species, but had also become the heart of a new hope, a beacon for all those who had been oppressed by the Empire's tyranny. As peace began to settle over the stars, humanity stood proud, knowing that their actions had forever shifted the balance of power in the galaxy. Commander Alex Carter stood on the balcony of Earth's new command center, gazing out at the bustling spaceports below. The once quiet streets of Earth were now filled with beings from all over the galaxy, human and alien alike, working together to rebuild what had been destroyed. Humanity had proven itself, and now they were not only defenders but leaders. It was a responsibility that Alex never thought would fall on his people's shoulders, but it was one they accepted without hesitation. Behind him, Xyra, the alien leader, walked up to join him. She had changed over the course of their time together. Once skeptical and cautious, she now radiated a sense of hope. She had seen her people rise from the ashes of destruction, helped by humanity's unwavering support. Now she had become an ally, a voice for the smaller worlds that had long been ignored. "We did it," Xyra said, her voice filled with awe. "The galaxy is different now. No one will ever forget what Earth has done." Alex turned to her with a slight smile. "We did it together. Humanity may have sparked this change, but it's the rest of the galaxy that will carry it forward." Across the galaxy, the newly formed Galactic Alliance was taking shape. It was a coalition of worlds, both human and alien, dedicated to maintaining peace and freedom. The Empire, once a powerful force that controlled countless planets, was now in disarray. Its leaders had been overthrown, and the remnants of its military forces were scattered and disorganized. As the days passed, the human fleet worked alongside alien forces to rebuild the damaged worlds. Earth had sent resources, technology, and manpower to aid in the recovery efforts. The once helpless planets that had once been prey to the Empire were now rising, supported by their newfound allies. The first meeting of the new Galactic Council was held in a grand hall on Earth. Leaders from every corner of the galaxy came to discuss the future, knowing that the galaxy's destiny had been reshaped by humanity's intervention. Alex Carter was there, representing Earth's people, but he was no longer just a commander. He was a symbol of what humanity had become, a protector of the weak, a leader of the free. "We've seen the worst the galaxy has to offer," Alex spoke to the assembled leaders, his voice strong. "But we've also seen the best. Together, we can build a future where every planet, every species, has a chance to thrive. And Earth will stand with you, always." The applause was deafening. The galaxy was united, not by force, but by a shared dream of peace and cooperation. Earth had proven that even in the face of overwhelming odds, humanity could rise above, protect those who could not protect themselves, and create a better future for all. As the meeting came to a close, Alex stood by the window, looking out at the stars. He knew that the journey ahead would not be easy, but for the first time in a long while, the future seemed bright. "Humanity's fight isn't over," he whispered to himself, "but we've proven we can protect what matters most." The dawn of a new era had begun, and humanity was ready to lead the way.